Playing Mario Kart 64 with friends and family gave me some of the most memorable moments of my childhood. There was nothing quite like sitting on a couch with 4 of your favorite people just battling it out. Whether it was in race mode or battle mode, it didn't matter, it was a ton of fun. And in our house we had a rule: if you had more than 4 people in the room, and you came in last or you got knocked out first, you had to trade off the controller. So that meant if you lost, you were sitting out the next game. And I couldn't let that happen. So back in the day, I was always looking for a little bit of an edge. Shortcuts, tricks, or anything that would give me a little advantage to beat my friends and family. So let's go back and explore these Mario Kart shortcuts and moves that totally messed up friendships back in the day. And just so we're clear, these aren't the insane speedrunner tricks that you see nowadays. While those impressed me a ton, I was definitely never skilled enough to pull those off. These are the common ones that you'll probably remember when you see them. And I'm sure I missed a few, so don't be afraid to let me know what I missed in the comments. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Mario Kart!
Let's kick things off at Wario Stadium. This track had a bunch of little tricks, but the one that really sticks out for me is that infamous start line jump over the wall trick. This wasn't the easiest one to pull off, but if you timed it just right, you could cut off a huge chunk of the map. It was such a legendary shortcut in my family and friends groups that we actually had to ban it before matches. And a fun fact that I found out years later is once you do the first jump, you can actually jump back over the wall back to the start line. It was a little harder to pull off, but theoretically you could finish this race in around 30 seconds. I remember really upsetting a friend when he saw me first pull this off. Another sneaky move that I remember doing is I'd go through the race as normal for 2 laps, and then on the 3rd lap, I'd let everyone pass the jump, and then when I saw everyone drive by it, I'd go ahead and use the jump so I can get into first place.
I'm gonna win!
This move may have cost me some friendships back in the day. To this day, I still think that the Wario Kart Stadium jump might be one of the most infamous glitches in Mario Kart history. Next up is Koopa Troopa Beach. This one's kind of obvious because the game actually nudges you towards this jump, cool secret tunnel and waterfall shortcut, but it actually takes a bit of mastery. If you time your jump just right, you didn't need a mushroom, but if you had a mushroom, it was way easier. And if you did it, you could cut off a good chunk of the course, making some of your opponents a little bitter that you pulled it off. I always kind of wish they put more shortcuts like this in the game. I know there are a few scattered throughout the game, but I thought this risk-reward mechanic was awesome.
Let's go!
And if you couldn't pull this off back in the day, or struggled to do it in some races, you could always try to sabotage others. I remember getting frustrated a couple times where I wasn't able to pull it off, so I would save banana peels and drop them outside the waterfall area. That way, if you had friends that mastered it, as soon as they got to the exit of the waterfall, they'd spin out. A little bit of a counterplay to this shortcut. I always loved this shortcut because it was a fun mix of skill if you could pull it off. It had a little bit of a risk to it, and it gave you that feeling of, should I go for this or should I just play it safe? But nonetheless, definitely one of the most memorable shortcuts throughout the game. Next, let's talk about Toad's Turnpike. This track was absolute chaos, especially when you were playing with 4 people. Traffic everywhere, items flying around, and mirror mode in this track, it still gives me nightmares to this day. But one of the more memorable parts of this track is the little pit stops off to the left-hand side. That's where you got items. And all these item boxes, they were lined up in a straight row. So it was an easy spot where you could drop a banana peel or fake item box on top of one another, and it would really mess with the people behind you going for items. It was a super sneaky way to hold the lead. This definitely upset people. I know people that would get really annoyed when I would do this. But it was actually really strategic, a good little move, especially when you were in first place and you were only getting like a single banana peel or a fake item box. If you played Toad's Turnpike back in the day, you definitely had some stories of your own. You never really forget the madness of this track. This next one was actually on a few different tracks throughout the game, but there were a few big jumps on tracks like Royal Raceway, DK Jungle, and Wario Stadium. When you'd be going for these jumps with opponents around you, you could knock opponents off with things like shells, you could put some banana peels here, maybe an item box to knock them off and knock them down below or into the water. But the ultimate trick here was zapping them in midair with lightning. The second that you did it, it sent them flying into the water or way back in the track, and it was absolutely brutal. You had to be really strategic and hold the lightning, but once you figured out you can do it, It was the ultimate soul-crushing move that you could pull on your friends and family. I vividly remember doing this a few times, and I actually remember a friend getting pretty upset with me. I think he threw a controller at me. Next, let's talk about some of the most memorable choke points on some of these tracks. There's Bowser's Castle Bridge, the DK Jungle Bridge, and the narrow ledge on Choco Mountain. These are absolutely perfect spots to drop fake item boxes or banana peels. Because these are such tight choke points, whatever item you dropped here, it forced the person into it. So they might slip on a banana peel and fall off the map, or be forced into a fake item box and get launched in the air. It was a great way to maintain your lead and create some chaos behind you, and also slowed everyone down. I still remember one of my cousins yelling out, "Who would put banana peels here?" And then me having a little smirk on my face as I maintained my first place lead. Before we wrap up, a quick honorable mention. And this is probably going to be an obscure one, but I remember in battle mode on Skyscraper, I would get everyone to play chicken because there was this huge drop in the middle. I'd say, everyone, all right, let's just hold A in the beginning and see who wins this battle of chicken. And at the last second, I would pull out, letting everyone else fall down the middle. And this basically meant that I'd start off with 3 balloons while everyone else would start off with 2. It usually worked only once with a group of friends, but I know I did this with both my friends and my family. Going forward, no one ever trusts me when we're playing battle mode or race mode for that matter, but I thought it was a hilarious trick that I used to pull. And again, I know this one might be a unique one to me, but let me know if anyone else out there did this. And last but not least, Rainbow Road. I was always mesmerized by the colors and the music of this map. It's a very, very special map to me. Somewhere down the line, I learned the shortcut where you could jump over these left rails at the start of the race. It was really tough to pull off, but when you did it, you cut off half the map. I remember my friend and family group, we all agreed this was fair game because it was such a risky move. Because if you missed it, you fell so far behind, so we just all felt that balanced out. I remember going absolutely crazy jumping up and down every time I hit it, and it actually worked. A memorable shortcut for an extremely memorable map. These are just some of the moments that made Mario Kart such a peak part of my childhood. And I'm sure you have your own memories and moments with Mario Kart 64. I think of all those little moments that are just kind of lost in time because we didn't have a cell phone to pull out to record something, or any ability to record these games in general. The laughs, the friend fights, the family fights, throwing controllers, throwing the game, shutting the game off, rage quitting. It was such a special moment in time where you could just sit around a couch with 4 people playing a game like this. There was so much magic in this era that's a little lost now. We have incredible online games and we're more connected than ever. But that feeling of being on a couch together, competing in the same room, that's something I really miss.
Let's go!
The late nights, the holidays, the family parties, the sleepovers, it was all just pure magic. Mario Kart 64 was just the medium, but the memories were the real thing. And if you experienced that magic back then, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you probably have a hidden save of your own. These are mine. This is Hidden Saves, a channel about unlocking old memories and figuring out why some games just stuck with us. If this one unlocks something for you, feel free to hit subscribe or drop a comment, and let me know what forgotten memory we should dig up next. Catch you in the next one.